I want you to do something for me. Close your eyes for a moment. You are a child again, somewhere. A beach, perhaps. Or maybe just a room in your house. It does not matter where. You find a seashell. You pick it up. You turn it over in your hands. Feel the weight of it. The smooth curves, the spiral pulling inward toward some mysterious center. And then, you do what every human being who has ever held a seashell has done. You bring it slowly to your ear. And there it is. That sound. Vast, distant, rolling, alive, the ocean. I remember the first time I heard it. I must have been very young, still small enough that the shell felt large in my hands. And when I pressed it to my ear, something happened inside me that I could not explain. It felt real, not like a recording, not like an imitation. Real, like the shell was alive, with something it had carried from somewhere far away. And I remember thinking, how? How is the ocean inside this shell? Now I have spent a lifetime asking how things work, how light bends, how atoms hold together, how the universe keeps its extraordinary balance. But I will tell you something honestly. Few questions have stayed with me quite the way that one did, because the answer is not what you think, and it is more beautiful than the mystery itself. Now let me ask you something. What do you actually believe is happening when you hear that sound? Most people, and I mean almost everyone, believe some version of the same story, that the shell was once part of the ocean, that it lived there, grew there, and when it left, it carried the ocean's sound with it, trapped inside its spiral chambers like a memory it could not let go of. It is a beautiful idea. Genuinely beautiful. And it is completely wrong. Here is how I know. Take a seashell, any seashell, into a completely silent room. A room with no ocean anywhere near it. A room in the middle of a continent. Thousands of miles from any sea. Press it to your ear. The ocean is still there. Now take a coffee mug, an ordinary ceramic coffee mug. Press it to your ear. Listen carefully. You will hear something remarkably similar. The ocean was never in the shell. So what exactly have you been hearing your entire life? Here is where it gets genuinely interesting. Sound, and I want you to really understand this. Sound is never silent. Right now, in the room where you are sitting, there is sound everywhere. Constant, continuous, invisible. The hum of air moving through a vent. The distant rumble of traffic outside. The almost imperceptible vibration of your building. Settling. Your own breathing. Your own heartbeat. You do not hear most of it consciously. Your brain, remarkably efficient as it is, filters it out, decides it is not important, pushes it below the threshold of your awareness. But it is there. All of it. Always. Now, when you pick up a seashell and press it to your ear, something extraordinary happens. The shell's hollow chamber, that beautiful spiral cavity, catches all of that ambient sound floating invisibly around you. And here is the remarkable part. The shell does not just collect that sound, it selects it. Every hollow object, every cavity, has what physicists call a resonant frequency, a specific pitch, a specific range of sound that it amplifies naturally based on its size and shape. Think of it this way. You have seen what happens when an opera singer hits exactly the right note near a crystal glass. The glass vibrates, rings, sometimes shatters. That is resonance. The frequency of the sound matches the natural frequency of the object, and the object responds. Your seashell does exactly this. It catches the ambient noise surrounding you, filters out everything that does not match its resonant frequency, amplifies everything that does, and delivers it directly into your ear. What you hear as the ocean is the world around you, filtered, shaped, amplified, by the geometry of a spiral. But wait, there is something even more remarkable happening, something that, when I first understood it fully, genuinely stopped me. Some of the sound you hear inside that shell is coming from you. Your body is not silent. Right now, as you sit still, as you breathe, as you simply exist, your blood is moving through thousands of vessels near your ear. Your jaw muscles hold a constant subtle tension. The tiny bones inside your ear, the smallest bones in your entire body, are vibrating with every sound wave that reaches them. Your body is generating sound continuously, and when you press a shell against your ear, the shell amplifies that too. So here is the profound truth hiding inside that childhood moment. When you pressed that shell to your ear as a child, feeling something vast and alive and mysterious, part of what you were hearing was yourself. Your own blood moving, your own body humming, your own existence made audible, shaped by the geometry of a spiral, and returned to your ear as something that sounded like the ocean. The shell did not carry the ocean to you, it carried you to yourself. Now let me show you something even more precise. Have you ever noticed? That different shells sound different. A large conch shell produces a deep, rolling sound, almost like distant thunder over water. A small spiral shell produces something higher, lighter, more like wind than waves. This is not random. This is physics being exactly as precise as physics always is. The size of the shell's cavity determines its resonant frequency. Larger cavity, lower frequency, amplified; deeper sound, smaller cavity, higher frequency, amplified; lighter sound. And here is something I find endlessly fascinating about this. The spiral shape of a shell, that beautiful mathematical curve called a logarithmic spiral, is one of the most efficient shapes in nature for capturing and focusing sound. It appears in nautilus shells, in galaxies, in the arrangement of seeds in a sunflower, in the curve of a breaking wave. Nature returns to this shape again and again because it works. And when that shape captures the ambient sound floating around you, amplifies your own body's hum, and delivers it to your ear, your brain receives something it recognizes. A rolling, continuous, layered sound that matches something it already knows: the ocean. And this is where I want to pause. Because the physics is fascinating, genuinely fascinating. But there is a question underneath all of this that interests me even more. Why does the brain hear ocean? Not just noise, not just amplified ambient sound, not just your own blood-moving ocean. Here is what I think is happening. The brain is not a passive receiver of information. It is an active interpreter, a storyteller. It takes raw sensory data, and it builds meaning from it. When you hear that rolling, layered, continuous sound inside the shell, your brain searches its entire library of experience for the closest match, and it finds waves. Because waves produce exactly this kind of sound: rolling, layered, continuous. Never quite the same twice, but always recognizably similar. Your brain says, I know this. I have heard this before. This is the ocean. And it fills in the rest: the smell of salt air, the feeling of sand, the warmth of sun on water, the vastness of horizon. None of that is in the shell. All of it is in you. And this is what I find most remarkable about the entire phenomenon. The experience of the ocean inside the shell is not an illusion exactly. It is your brain doing what it does best, taking something real, ambient sound, resonance, your own body's hum, and turning it into something meaningful, something that connects you to something vast. So let me bring you back to that child. Shell pressed to ear, eyes half closed. Something vast and alive filling the silence. Was that child wrong? I do not think so. That child was hearing real sound, shaped by real physics, amplified by one of nature's most perfect geometric forms, mixed with the sound of their own living, breathing body. And their brain, doing exactly what a remarkable brain does, turned all of that into something meaningful, something connected, something that felt like the world was speaking directly to them. That is not an illusion. That is perception. And perception is one of the most extraordinary things in the known universe. I have spent my life looking at how things actually work, underneath the surface, behind the appearance. Below the story, we tell ourselves about what we see and hear and feel. And what I have found every single time, without exception, is that the reality is always more beautiful than the myth, always more mysterious, always more connected, always more alive. The ocean was never in the shell, but something real was, something physical and precise and extraordinary. And now, the next time you press a shell to your ear, you will hear something even more remarkable. You will hear the world around you, shaped into something beautiful, by the mathematics of a spiral. And underneath all of that, quiet and steady and alive, you will hear yourself, every sound, every force, every pattern hiding in plain sight. There is always more underneath than what we first hear. If that way of listening speaks to you, you already know where to find more of it, right here.